Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is the Night Parade podcast, the show where we shine light on the dark. Each episode, we present to you a case on all things true crime and paranormal.
That's right.
As always, we'll be your hosts. My name is Glenn.
And my name is Jan.
And we work together here with the team at Night Parade Studio to bring you this show.
That is right.
That's right. And if you guys want to help support the show, you can follow us or, help by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It would really go a long way.
Yes, please do that. And it has been a while since we did a disappearance, and is a very mysterious one. So this person actually went missing during a luxury cruise ship. Can you believe that? Luxury cruise ship.
Wow.
She was on a family vacation, and unfortunately it did not end too well for the whole family. Here's the disappearance of Amy Bradley. Let's get started.
Let's do it. Disappearing on a vacation. Poor girl.
Poor girl.
All right, so as we stated, this is Amy Bradley, and she disappeared during a family vacation. She was on a luxury cruise ship, Rhapsody of the Seas, with Royal Caribbean. And she had recently graduated from college with a degree in physical education. She was an athlete and a lifeguard. Pretty promising life, I'd say. Yeah, she actually didn't want to go on the cruise, unfortunately. She was very apprehensive about the open sea, despite being a trained lifeguard.
I get it, though. The sea is very different from a pool.
Oh, yeah.
That has the pool is very limited, and in the middle of the sea is just...
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of problems there.
The bottom is so far.
So far, man.
Yeah. So her parents, they actually had to convince her to go. Unfortunately for poor Amy, this trip would change her entire life. So, Saturday, March 21st, 1998, Amy and her family boarded Rhapsody of the Seas from San Juan, Puerto Rico, to the island of Aruba.
Aruba's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I heard. I've never been, but I heard.
Yeah, pictures, yeah. 2 days later, they departed from Aruba and into international waters. Up on the screen is a picture of Rhapsody of the Seas. It's really nice. It's huge.
Oh, yeah. That's a city in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Its next destinations were Curacao, Netherlands, Antilles. On the way to Curacao, Amy somehow vanished. It was the night before her disappearance. 1 a.m., Iva and Ron, Amy's parents, they decided to call it a night. They head back to the room, and Amy and her brother Brad decide to go to one of the ship's nightclubs,
Ooh, a nightclub on a ship. That's fancy.
That is pretty fancy.
That's pretty fancy.
So, up on the screen are some clips of the footage, some security footage that was from the nightclub, and you can see Amy dancing. This was actually some of the only evidence that was found during the investigation. Yeah. So in the footage, she had been drinking a lot by this point, and she was most likely intoxicated. So Blue Orchid is the name of the band playing on the ship, and Yellow is the name of the bass player. So this guy can be seen on the video dancing with Amy. His real name is Alistair Douglas. 4 a.m., Brad gets back to the room first. He kisses Amy goodnight. He leaves her and says, "I'm gonna go back. I'm tired."
Yeah, it's a brother-sister kiss, not like a couple kiss.
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember, they're brothers.
They're
and
brother and
sisters.
sister. Yeah. But they're just that type of brother and sister.
They're
I
close.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, I kiss my sister on the forehead when I'm leaving the house.
Well, I don't kiss my brother, man.
Oh, okay.
So he decides to sit on the balcony at that time. At 4:15, Amy gets back to the room and joins Brad on the balcony, and soon Brad goes to bed. Amy decides to stay on the balcony and sleep there. She wants to get some fresh air because maybe she's a little drunk or something.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I love some fresh air when I'm drunk.
Yeah. Exactly. So 5:30, the ship arrives in Curacao. And so Ron, her dad, he wakes up. He finds Amy still asleep on the balcony. He thinks they'll soon get breakfast, so he decides to go back to sleep. 20 minutes later, Ron wakes up again and looks on the balcony, but this time, Amy's gone.
20 minutes. It took 20 minutes for Amy to disappear.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole night, nothing happened to her. And it's in their room balcony where something had, took her somehow. Within the 20-minute span. Which is pretty fast if you're going to think about it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he basically just go back to, take a nap. And that's about it. Wow, that's crazy.
Out of nowhere, yeah.
Well, yeah, at this point, Ron thinks that maybe she already went up to the deck to get some breakfast, but when he got there, Amy wasn't there. So he started searching the ship for almost about maybe 1 hour or so, but he couldn't find her anywhere, and she left all her belongings. It was kind of like strange to Ron, like, why would she leave the room without anything on her? To him, it looked like she changed clothes first and grabbed her cigarettes, and that's it.
And that's it. And
And
then
left
just
everything
left.
else. I mean, if I'm looking at that from my perspective, I would say like she just went out for a smoke and was planning on coming back to get changed and maybe go to breakfast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably what she was thinking. Like, oh, I'm gonna go
Yeah,
for a quick
makes
smoke
sense.
break, right? And then come back in the room, change, go with my whole family.
Right.
But 7 a.m. and Ron is waking Iva up while Brad is off searching for his sister, Amy. Now, members of the band approach Brad saying that they were sorry to hear about his sister. But this was weird to Brad because this was before anyone had been alerted about her disappearance. So why would the band go up to Brad and say, "Oh, I'm sorry about what happened to your sister," when in reality the whole situation hasn't been blown out of proportion yet?
That's pretty fishy.
So yeah, that's kind of like a red flag right there. That's the first red flag. Together, Ron, Brad, and Iva go to the captain of the ship, and they beg him to make an announcement and search the whole ship, basically the whole cruise ship, which is a really big ship. But oddly enough, the captain refused to make an announcement that early in the morning, saying that it was, too early and it was going to disturb most of the visitors or the vacationers. But as the ship began to dock on their next destination, which is Curacao, Iva and Brad begged the captain once again not to let anyone off the ship until the whole ship has been searched and they've found Amy, whether it's for better or for worse. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So, with that being said, with the whole begging and whatnot, they still refused to let all that happen. So basically, the captain was like, "Nope, not gonna do that. I'm gonna let everybody go out because it's their vacation, all that kind of stuff and whatnot."
What the heck?
And even though he let everybody out, that's when he started beginning the search, which doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Because there are maybe some suspects already off the ship,
Yeah.
that you're not going to be able
Yeah.
to find Amy with that kind of situation.
Oh my gosh. See, no, this right here, mistake number one.
Yeah, for sure, for
Like,
sure.
This right here is probably what let Amy go. Like,
For reals,
Yeah.
like disappear to a full disappearance.
yeah.
Because they would have probably found her if only he had sealed all exits.
If the captain only cared about his
His
passengers,
yeah, for
to
sure,
be honest,
for sure.
enough. Because, like, okay, first of all, what if it wasn't just Amy? Like, it could have been more.
Exactly.
And this is just one
Yeah.
family talking to them.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, it's crazy. So the search comes up empty, and they decide to leave the ship and search the whole island instead. The problem with that is that the ship departs in less than 4 hours. So at this point, they're racing against the clock, because if the ship leaves, that means the suspect could leave with the ship and they're searching in the wrong place. Or if they leave with the ship, the suspect could stay on the island and they're searching the ship, which is a wrong place. So there's a whole lot of like this is the worst case scenario right here.
Yeah. Oh my
taking
gosh.
place for the whole family, for the Bradley family.
This must be so horrifying for them.
It really must be horrifying, because I mean, you went on a vacation where you forced your daughter to come with you.
It was supposed to be a good time.
And yeah, I mean, cruises are supposed to be a good time, right? That's what they're made for. But now you're at the probably worst scenario of your life.
It's awful.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Man, I couldn't imagine being even in their shoes. Well, props to Amy's parents. Apparently, the night of her disappearance, right, a waiter from one of the ship's restaurants approached Iva and Ron. And he asked where Amy was, because he and a few other people wanted to take her to a place called Carlos and Charlie's.
Prior to disappearance.
Yeah, this is before.
Okay.
So when they later saw Amy, they told her about this. And Amy responded saying they were creepy and she wasn't going anywhere with them.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she also mentioned that Alistair Douglas had been hitting on her aggressively. And, she told him to back off.
Which is the bass player of the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a pretty shady guy.
Man.
So 4 hours later, they still can't find her. They called the FBI. So they decided to stay on the island as the ship departs. You know, it must have been a really tough decision to make.
For sure.
Soon the FBI calls them back, though. They tell them that there had not been a thorough search conducted on the ship. Again, some red flags on that ship.
Yeah.
So they only searched the common areas and not the rooms. They pretty much lied to the parents, saying that they did that they conducted
the whole thorough search.
Yeah.
Wow.
March 26th, the FBI comes and thoroughly searches the ship, and the Bradley family actually boarded a plane, and they flew to the ship's next stop. So from there, they would continue searching the ship. So they were actually able to find a witness, and she said that she saw Amy around 5:30 a.m. that morning. She was walking with Yellow to the upper deck. 10 minutes later, he returned by himself.
That would be the smokes that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Early in the morning, because she grabbed her cigarettes. Maybe Yellow did ask her to, hey, you want to come for, like, you know, up in the deck to smoke, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, yeah, I'm sobering up. You know, a smoke would be good early in the morning. Right?
Yeah. So the FBI brings a polygraph onto the ship, and both them and the ship question Douglas. So, you know, apparently the ship has a say in it. I say that they should be questioning the entire ship because...
yeah, because, I mean, they're the one who did... First of all, the captain did not do what was asked of him.
Yeah, he's pretty shady himself.
For poor reasons. You know what I mean? I would get it if it wasn't, like, an emergency, but this is a missing woman, right? And second, the search that they did on the ship, where the FBI said that it wasn't even a thorough ship search that they did.
Yeah.
That's the second thing. They could all be questioned for that. Like, why didn't you do all that?
Yeah.
You know, and third thing is letting all the people out when they got to Curacao. That was not it.
Exactly. That action alone is what led to Amy, like, completely disappearing.
Yeah.
I say it's his fault.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the ship's photos. The cruise ship actually has a photographer taking pictures of all the passengers. And so when Iva went to check to see if Amy's pictures were there, you know, it turned out that somebody took all of the pictures of Amy.
So now that the proof that she was on that ship disappears along with her body.
It's somebody on the crew, man. The FBI is unable to obtain enough evidence to detain anybody during the search. So they basically didn't do anything. March 28th, the Bradleys disembark the ship and fly back home. Oh my gosh.
It must be heartbreaking.
Yeah. At home, they don't give up. The family launches a campaign to try and bring Amy back home. They announce a $200,000 reward to anyone with information leading to Amy's return. April 21st, Brad and Ron return to Curacao to search for Amy by themselves. At this point, they're on a search. He's trying to find his sister, Brad and Ron.
Right.
Yeah.
They're desperate. I mean, what else could you do? You know what I mean? You were on a cruise when all this happened. It's not like, you know, you were in your hometown where you could just start handing out flyers. No, you gotta go to the place where it all happened. Start doing what they're doing.
Exactly. So they handed out flyers. A taxi driver claims that he saw Amy on the day that she vanished. Apparently, she approached his cab as he got off the ship, asking where the nearest phone was. He said that he'd never forget her green eyes. So Amy had green eyes. Amy has green eyes.
Okay.
May 1999, David Carmichael, a Canadian businessman, calls the Bradleys with a lead. He says that he had no interest in the reward money, and he saw Amy's face on TV. He said that he encountered Amy around 5 months after she vanished. He was scuba diving in Curacao. So he was deep in the water, and he looked down at the beach, and he saw a girl walking with two taller men walking at her flanks. When she heard David talk in English, she began to, try to get his attention, walking towards him, She was about to speak when the two men grabbed her and pulled her into the nearby cafe. David had a gut feeling about her. He follows them, and he notices a few tattoos on her, including a Tasmanian devil on her left shoulder blade, which is one of Amy's identifiers.
Right.
And he described her to a T to Amy's parents. And this was a confirmation to the Bradleys that Amy had been kidnapped. They wondered what kind of situation she was in, and they contacted the authorities, who searched the area, but they found nothing.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. So 3 months later, another man comes forward claiming that he can help the Bradleys. Mr. Frank Jones, another lead. So he is a special forces agent, whatever. He says that Amy's is most likely he says Amy is most likely a victim of human trafficking. And he says that he specializes in bringing people like that home. He says operations like these take time and money, and the Bradleys were more than willing to pay. So over a year, Jones and his agents conduct investigations in Curacao. They conclude that Amy is still alive on the island. Jones send the Bradleys surveillance photos of Amy on the beach. So September 22nd, 1999, Frank says he's gathered enough information to bring Amy home. But to do this, he needs an additional $100,000. Iva and Ron gathered the money from their employer, who's willing to help out.
Wow, that's a very nice employer.
Yes. But he wants to make sure that the money is put to good use. So he hires a private investigator to spy on Frank.
Right.
A few hours later, he calls the Bradleys, and he finds out that Frank had been using the money on booze and nightclubs. He also finds out that Frank is not an ex-military.
Damn.
Frank Jones is a con man.
Wow. They're really taking advantage of this broken family. For lack of better words, it's easy to do, especially when you're desperate to find, your loved ones. You would do anything.
It's just awful.
No questions, but it's awful.
People.
Why some people would do this to a already suffering family.
So even the photos that they sent the Bradleys were faked. Apparently they had a girl pose as Amy's, even getting her tattoos.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. And Frank had taken over $200,000 from the Bradleys by the end of it all. All that money was from donations that was sent to them to help Amy.
Right, to help find... Oh, my goodness. Wow.
February 2002, Frank Jones is arrested and charged with fraud.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Good.
screw that guy. He's sentenced to 5 years in prison in order to pay back every single penny to the Bradleys.
As he should. He
Yeah.
just grabbed, like, $200K, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Of donated money.
Donated money.
That is insane.
They just want their daughter back.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, the Bradleys were frustrated that they lost so much time to Frank Jones. Like, this guy really used up the money and the time that they're, supposed to be using to basically search for Amy.
Yeah.
Because they were relying on his intel to bring Amy back.
It was fake.
But it was all fake. But fortunately, another lead comes in from a naval officer stationed in Curacao. He said he was at a brothel and a girl approached him, and she said, "My name is Amy Bradley and I need help." He told her to go to the station nearby, and she basically said, "You don't understand, I cannot just leave." Then somebody grabbed her and took her away from the guy.
Wow.
So this is very helpful because now there's an actual physical contact.
Right.
So since the sailor wasn't supposed to be in the brothel, he waited more than 2 years before coming forward because maybe he was going to get in trouble.
Yeah, he was.
But yeah, since then the brothel had been burned down.
Oh man.
So it basically was too late.
A waste of time, yeah.
Yeah, you waited too long to be
Yeah.
doing that. This confirmed that Amy was forced into prostitution. Now, in September 2005, the Bradleys received a shocking tip that this person wished to stay anonymous, but he sent them pictures of what he found online, and he believes that it's of Amy Bradley. And these are the pictures that he sent to the family from the poses that she's in. It looks like she's forcibly was selling her body to make some money.
Yeah, they're very revealing pictures of her. It's obvious that they're being used for sex or something.
Or to make money off of her, right?
Yeah.
They were found on a adult website in the Caribbean, and she was being advertised as a female escort, and these pictures were analyzed by forensic expert These pictures were analyzed by forensics experts. They determined that the facial structure, hairline, and multiple piercings to be perfect match from, what they remember as Amy Bradley looking prior.
They had pictures of her before.
And in December 2005, another breakthrough on the island of Barbados, this time near Curacao, Judy Morer and her husband They were also on a cruise, and while they were docked at Barbados, they were, shopping downtown, doing like their vacation stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
When Judy enters the ladies' room in a department store, she was in the stall when a few people entered. She heard men voices in the stalls, which is kind of weird because,
it's
a
scary.
women's bathroom,
Right.
right? So this resulted in Judy hiding in the stall, and she overhears their angry conversation between the men. The deal is at 5. You better not mess it up. I'll kill you if you do. That must have been really terrifying to hear, especially in a bathroom, right? Then the men leave behind the girl who was still in the restroom, and she was crying at the faucet when Judy came out of the stall and she saw her and whatnot. She asked where she was from. The girl said Virginia. So Judy asked for her name, and she whispered, Amy. And loudly, Judy says, my daughter's name is Amy. That resulted in a man coming in, grabbing Amy, and taking her away from the whole scenario, where Judy could have just stayed quiet. Oh, my daughter's name is Amy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to put Judy down, but it's like she kind of did screw things up, because who knows, Amy might have gotten punished for that,
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Now, using Judy's eyewitness account, the FBI is able to draw composite sketches of Amy and the 3 men who were with her in a bathroom. The FBI questioned people in the area, but nobody had seen Amy or any of her captures. This is a whole island, and then she's prostituting.
Or being forced.
Or being forced. Correction. That means somebody would see her.
Thinking about it, though, like, this time she's in Barbados.
True.
She was on her way to Curacao before, so that means she's been moved around the islands.
Yeah.
That might be why she's been able to evade
The search.
being safe for so long, because she's probably being moved across the islands. Amy must be somewhere on those islands still.
Somewhere.
Okay, with our closing notes, we want to ask you guys, have you seen this woman, Amy Bradley? Up on the screen is a picture of her. Obviously from before she disappeared.
Right.
Amy was last seen in March 1998 aboard the Rhapsody of the Seas on the way to Curacao. She's 5 foot 6 inches tall. She has brown hair and green eyes. She has 4 distinct tattoos: a Tasmanian devil on her shoulder blade, on her right shoulder blade, a sun on her lower back, a Chinese symbol on her right ankle, a gecko around her navel. Today she would be 48 years old. If you have any information regarding Amy's whereabouts, please contact www.mylifetime.com/vanished. The link is going to be in the description below as well. Go to that link and click on the tips button. Anything would be appreciated. Unfortunately, on March 24th, 2010, Amy was declared legally dead by the officials. And the Bradley family still holds on to hope that they would see her again. Of course. The FBI is holding a $25,000 reward for any information leading to her return, as well as Amy's family is holding a $200,000 reward for any information leading to her return.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. This was the disappearance of Amy Bradley, the girl who disappeared on the Rhapsody of the Seas on a Royal Caribbean cruise line. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely won't be going on any Royal Caribbean cruises anytime soon because of this story.
And if you liked today's episode, please let us know what you thought in the comments below. And also, do not forget to leave a like, click the subscribe button, and the notification bell button so that you know when we're uploading our videos.
Heck yeah.
With that being said, my name is Jan.
And my name is Glenn, and welcome to the Night Parade. Thanks for watching, guys. This was the story of Amy Bradley. I don't know if I'll be able to ever be going on Royal Caribbean cruise lines because of this.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'll ever go on a cruise.
I kind of want to go on Disney.
The only cruise I'll trust is the Navy. We gotta redo this shit.
All right.